Ryan Clark. We also have Max Kellerman on the desk. Gentlemen, what's up?
What's happening? How you doing?
I'm doing. It's our first time working
Excited
together.
about it.
I am very excited.
As usual, I have to play with my new friends because my camp friends, my regular school friends, apparently.
That's what summertime's all about.
Hey, this is summer friends, though, homie.
That's right.
We got you, bro.
That's right.
We're making good memories here. You'll take them away for a lifetime.
Exactly.
All right, we ready to have some fun?
Absolutely.
All right, well, I'm happy to see everyone here is doing better than Antonio Brown. We did find out yesterday that Antonio Brown's mysterious foot injury is the result of extreme frostbite caused by a cryotherapy machine. Subsequently, Brown has been sidelined for most of his first training camp as a Raider, as he has not practiced since July 30th, since he left to go see a foot specialist. Here's what head coach John Gruden had to say about his new receiver's injury.
You know me, it's like waiting for Santa Claus. I've been really excited to coach this man. I think he's a great player, and he's a great competitor, and we need his life in this offense and on this football team, but we'll just cross our fingers, and I'll make no speculation whatsoever. He's got to get it evaluated. He's got to get the information he needs, and when he does, he'll be back. I mean, this guy's a legendary worker. He's got a great competitive fire. He practices at one speed. He does everything at one speed. And right now, he can't go at that speed, and it's frustrating to him. So we'll continue to monitor it and bring Raider fans up to speed as soon as we can.
Okay, Max, what do you think will AB regret going to the Raiders?
Look, let's leave money out of it because, I mean, you know, the real reason AB was causing problems, obviously, was because he wanted to get paid. And by the way, it worked. He got paid. And I don't know that he's really on the Raiders because the Raiders are like, this is going to fit into our plans. It doesn't really add up, right? Like, why do you need a wideout who has been known to cause problems and also is in his prime now, maybe at the late stages of his prime, when we don't really care about being great till we get to Las Vegas? Like, all that stuff didn't add up. It may have been a case where the price dropped on AB so much where you look and go, wait. We can get Antonio Brown for a third. We have a third round and a fifth. You get Antonio Brown? Okay. Got to take it even if it's not a perfect fit. And, of course, he's going to find out about Derek Carr. So he gets paid. The Raiders get a deal on a guy. Wouldn't everyone be happier that way? No, not from a football point of view. Antonio Brown is leaving a situation. Whatever Gruden's done, and Gruden's, you know, great on TV, and he's had a lot of success as a coach. Although I don't think you're dissing Gruden to say when you inherit Tony Dungy's team that's knocking on the door and you take him over the top, that's fine, that's good. I mean, Tomlin did the same thing, inherited talented team, but compare their resumes. Tomlin's the better coach. Just going based on what they've accomplished. Tomlin's better. So you're leaving a better coach for a lesser coach. You are leaving a better organization for a lesser organization. Look at the history of both. Look at the way they're run. You are leaving a better quarterback, guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, for a lesser quarterback. You are leaving a more talented offensive team, making it easier on you for a less talented offensive team. And finally, you're leaving a pass-happy offense for an offense that, like, I'm sorry, no matter how many, whatever you think about the Raiders are going to do, Pittsburgh was a pass-happy offense. And so Antonio Brown, as a receiver from that point of view, had to be happy because he's targeted a lot, right? And by a great quarterback. From a football point of view, to probably win less, be targeted less, be less productive, I think you have to say he will regret it.
It sounds like you have sound logic, right? But it's not, because we're not talking about a person who thinks in a logical way as it comes to football. Because if you saw that, if that was everything you knew you had in Pittsburgh, then you wouldn't be trying to get away, right? You wouldn't be trying to go to a place, no matter where the place was, because he didn't know it would be Oakland initially, but he wouldn't be trying to get away from the great organization, from the great head coach, from the future Hall of Fame quarterback. But he did. And why did he? Because what he wanted to be, he could never be in Pittsburgh. Because it wasn't about how much he got targeted. It wasn't about how much fame he got. It was that he wanted to be the most important person on the team. He wanted the organization to treat him like he mattered the most. He wanted his thoughts, right? He wanted his ideas to be taken into consent before anybody else's. Well, that's what he gets when he goes to Oakland. When you hear John Gruden talk about this guy, when John Gruden introduces him to the world, to the media, he's a hard worker. I remember saying when we were about to face him during the season, the way Antonio Brown works is the way it's supposed to happen. This guy only goes one speed. Antonio Brown is this franchise. Antonio Brown is now the representation of the Oakland Raiders that they want. He is the dude. So he did get the money. Even if you say you want to take it out, you can't take it out from the equation of somebody else, the way that they're thinking and what they're happy about. And in the situation of the coaching situation, that familiarity that he had with Mike Tomlin, that started to breed contempt, right? So that relationship was now work. You don't need more work on top of trying to be a good football team, and that's what it was in Pittsburgh. He's going to be targeted because he's the man there. He's going to get the ball, and for Derek Carr's non-franchise-like intangibles, that means emotionally in check, not being sensitive, dealing with adversity well, his tangibles are franchise quarterback-like.
I always bring up Sharp Analytics. You know, I suggest people follow Warren Sharp on Twitter. I do. I think he's the best. He's posted not all that long ago about where Derek Carr likes to target his receivers most is where Antonio Brown likes to be targeted most. In certain ways, it's a very good situation. And look, as a teammate, I think it's not a stretch to think Derek Carr will be a better teammate to Antonio Brown than Ben Roethlisberger was. But I have a question for you as a former Pittsburgh Steeler and champion. Do you think I am going to take money out of it because once you add in the equation, if I were Antonio Brown, would I want to play for the better team or make tens of millions of dollars more? That's guaranteed. Which he
guaranteed.
That's
right off the bat.
Like you have to be crazy to think. Like I know fans want to think, oh, it's all about the rings. NFL's a TV show, right? And the playoffs are just another TV show for which you get paid less, by the way, if you're a star player. So like let's calm down. I'm going to take that out. Do you think it's more important for Antonio Brown to be in the playoffs on a great team and win, or to miss the playoffs but be more of the unquestioned face of the franchise?
Now, this is my opinion, right? So this is a hard question to answer because now I'm basically speaking to a man's mindset and his character, which is something I'm very careful about doing from this seat because you don't necessarily know these things. I know the things that he was upset about while in Pittsburgh when they were winning, right, were when he wasn't targeted or if he was running down the middle of the field and he didn't get the ball when he was wide open. While this team was winning, while this team was doing well. So to me, it seems that his gripes have been more about individual statistics and the individual way that he was treated rather than how my team is doing.
Just based on the evidence, you're saying.
Based on the evidence. So from that, to me, it seems like I want to be in a situation where I'm the unquestioned leader, I'm the man, and the focus of what we do is on Antonio Brown and not the team.
What's interesting to me about that is when a guy works as hard as Antonio Brown does, right? You would think that a lot of that competitive fire is to be the best. But even though the wide receiver in certain ways is an individual sport more than some other positions, you still, if you're not part of a winning team, is that any fun?
Well, the big thing is, like, when you look at a guy like Antonio, and I speak to the way that he was brought up, Antonio's life was hard. Antonio was a guy that had to fend for himself, someone who didn't know where he was going to sleep sometimes at night. And so when he began to get things, you know, it makes you one of two ways. It makes you extremely, extremely grateful, and you try to be a blessing to other people, or it makes you feel like, I don't know where my next is going to come from, so I need to hoard it, right? It needs to all be about me. And it seems that has kind of turned, that's what Antonio has turned into as I need to get more, I need to have more. And so his way to do that was to go to a place that was going to see him differently than he ever was going to be seen in Pittsburgh.
This is a debate show, I realize that, but because of the unique circumstance here, you being a Pittsburgh Steeler, everything, and also you and Antonio Brown in social media not all that long ago, I have one more question real quick. Derek Carr with Antonio Brown, because we've seen Derek Carr perform on a high level, and the trajectory in terms of his age could still potentially be like
where
that.
He is, he could still
versus Ben Roethlisberger, who, based on age, you know, at least flatline at best, right? Especially without his two best offensive weapons there anymore. Who's going to be a better quarterback this year?
Ben Roethlisberger would be a better quarterback this year.
All right, there you have it. Good debate, gentlemen. We have a lot more to come on First Take. Kevin Durant absolved his former team of any wrongdoing as far as his injury.